Welcome to the second video in our tips and tricks series for SOLIDWORKS. We're focusing in on features tips in this video, so keep watching for 30 feature tips every SOLIDWORKS user should know. If you haven't seen our sketch tips video, follow the link at the top of the screen to watch it. We're carrying on with the same part and picking up where we left off in that video. First up, I want to add some fillets to the model, as this is a machined component. We can easily start the fillet tool from the shortcut menu that appears when we choose an edge. On selecting additional edges, a toolbar appears. This is called the Fillet Selection Helper and is designed to help select additional fillet edges easily. Here you can see I have different options based on my selection. I don't want all these fillets the same size, but the majority are 2.5mm. Usually I'd need to create a fillet feature per size. However, there is an underused option within the fillet command called multi-radius fillet. Toggling this option on adds an individual dimensional control to each edge I've selected. Then simply just key in the value you want into the flyout you see on screen that's different to the initial value. I'd like to create two cuts on this model, one over here and one over here, using these two faces as my sketch planes. I'll start my first sketch and use a corner rectangle to link it to the outer edges of the model. I then need to control its position up and down. Rather than use a dimension, I can leverage something called temporary axes. For every cylindrical face, with the exception of fillets created with the fillet tool, a temporary axis is created automatically. So it's just a question of making them visible and adding a sketch relation between them. Whilst not really a feature tip, Rapid Sketch can help you quickly create sketches across multiple faces, which is what I'd like to do. So turning Rapid Sketch on, as soon as I select another sketch tool and choose a face, SOLIDWORKS will exit the existing sketch and start a new one on the face I select. We'll finish off by positioning this rectangle in the same way as the previous one, again with a collinear relationship with the temporary axis. I can then turn off the visibility of the temporary axis and exit the sketch using the D key. So you can see in the feature tree I've created two separate sketches. I'll use the first sketch for a cut feature, which I can launch from my S key. I want the cutout to go up to the surface of the cylindrical cut. Rather than selecting it from the property manager, simply double click on the face that you want to cut up to and it will select the up to surface end condition for you. Using my right mouse button as enter, I can quickly exit the feature. I want to have another cut feature on the right hand side. Pressing enter will repeat the last command, so in my case it will start the extruded cut tool again. I simply just need to select a sketch. The command remembers the end condition from the last time I used it, but what if I want to switch it? Simply right click on the screen and all the end conditions are available, allowing you to quickly switch to another one. Up to next is the end condition I want here. If you want to select something you can't see, rather than rotating the model, you can use a tool called Select Other. In my case, I want to sketch on this face, so I'll simply start the sketch and then right click over where the face is and choose Select Other. Then choose the face I want to sketch on. Whilst you are within Select Other, you can just right click to hide any faces, making it easier to get to the face you want. Select Other is available within a variety of commands across SOLIDWORKS. I'll quickly sketch out a line corner to corner and then place and dimension a circle on the midpoint of the line. I can then use this circle to create a cut feature. Within some tools we have the ability to specify where we are starting from. This can be especially useful when you don't have a face or plane exactly where you want to start your sketch from, like I have here. I want to create the counter bore at an offset from the sketch plane, so I'll choose offset, set my value at 15mm, and then specify my direction and end condition. Sometimes the holes you want to create are a bit more complicated than the hole wizard can support. For that we have a feature called Advanced Hole. Within the Advanced Hole Property Manager, I can build up my own custom style of hole. I want to create an additional clearance hole for an M6 bolt. Starting from this face. I'll position this now just so I can get my preview displaying correctly. I can then come back and set my end condition appropriately. Then I can choose to add additional elements either above or below my original selection. I want to also include a tapped hole for the same M6 bolt, so I'll choose straight tap and set the depth as I want it. You can continue to build additional elements if you want to, and then add these as a favourite or a style for reuse later. Looking at the modelling section, you can see both the elements of the advanced hole and the original cut feature that created the clearance for our bolt head. I'd like to reuse this set of features on the other side of the model so that they will both update if I change them, so it makes sense to use a mirror feature. I'll use the Q key to show the reference planes and pre-select the right plane to mirror about. My S key doesn't have mirror on it, but using the search means I can access it just as quick. I then just need to select the features I want to mirror. Sometimes the mirror feature won't create, and you'll get an information box appear on the screen like this. When you see this, SOLIDWORKS is telling you that the mirror feature can't copy the end conditions of one or all of the original features into the new position. Using the geometry pattern option simply takes the geometry as is and doesn't adjust any end conditions. This can be a useful option if you are struggling to mirror a feature or features, or if you just want to copy the geometry. Because this is a machine part, I want to chamfer the edges. Chamfer can be launched by simply selecting an edge. I want a 0.5mm chamfer. I mentioned the fillet selection helper at the start of this video. It also appears for chamfers. This can be turned off if you don't use it or don't want to see it. Simply toggle this button off. So now if I choose any additional edges, the toolbar won't show. I'll use the right click options to say OK and exit the command. I used the Q key earlier in the video and I'll use it again here. The Q key is used to display any reference planes including the front, top and right. Great if you have the planes hidden all the time like I do. I've shown the planes because I want to reuse a sketch profile from my library, so I'm just going to drag it from my library onto the right plane and then position it appropriately with two pierce relations. I'd like to use this profile and extrude from it, so I'm going to exit the sketch using the D key. Then make sure I pre-select my sketch and start the extrude tool from my S key. Now I don't want to extrude this from the right plane, so I'm going to use the from option we saw earlier. Instead of applying an offset, I can choose a different face entirely and extrude from there. I just need to flip my direction. This part contains a global variable for the stock material thickness. So instead of filling in 15mm manually, I can type an equals into the dimension box and select global variables. This way, if I need to switch the material thickness I'm using, it will change all dimensions in the model that are linked to this global variable. I don't want to merge this, so I'll uncheck merge results to get a multi-body solid and then exit the command. I'd like to round off some of these edges with fillets, so I'm going to hold down the control key and select multiple edges before entering the fillet command. If you're quickly selecting things in SOLIDWORKS, like the edges I've just selected, you can sometimes misclick and then you end up deselecting everything. On a small number of selections this can be annoying, but on a large amount of selections this can be a real time waster. If that happens to you, just right click and use previous selection. This will pick up your previous selection and you can pick up right where you left off. Selecting my final edge and I can start the fillet command. I'll fill in my 5mm value and exit the command. I want to create a cut in this body. I also want to clean up my screen a little bit by hiding the main body. In multi-body parts or assemblies you can quickly hide components or bodies you don't want to see using the tab key. Simply hover over the component or body and press tab. Now I want to sketch on the opposite side face to this one. I could rotate the model, but you can also use normal to. Clicking normal to once makes us normal to the face. Press it twice and we get the reverse normal to. I can then start my sketch on the face and quickly sketch out the profile I want. I'll add some parallel relations and my dimensions to fully define it. Using the D key I can exit the sketch, and then using the S key I can choose Extrude. The sketch is pre-selected, so I can just right click and make sure my end condition is correct, click OK and I have my cut feature. You can see that when you start to string these tips and the ones from our sketch video together, you can navigate the interface very quickly and efficiently, speeding up your workflows. Let's add some fillets to the cutout. I'll start the fillet tool again by choosing the fly out after selecting an edge. When you're selecting edges within the fillet or chamfer tool, you can actually pick them through geometry. You'll see here, I can select an edge even though I can't see it. It means you don't need to rotate your model unnecessarily. I'll exit by using the right mouse button. Once I've finished, I want to show the body that I hid earlier. Just use Shift and Tab to unhide the body. Now a nice way to rotate your model is to use the geometry. For example, I can middle mouse on this top face so it goes this colour. Then when we rotate the model it rotates about this face. This works on faces or edges of the model and can be a nice way of manipulating it. Let's add some counterbore holes next. I'll use the S key to select the hole wizard command, specify the size I want and then choose the positions. I'll place them here and here and then dimension them fully to some existing edges. I can then use my D key to exit the sketch and the command. I'll use the rotate round geometry again by middle mousing on this top face to rotate around it. I want to create a slot in the main body to take this side plate. It will help with the positioning and stability. A way to do this would be to sketch on the face, convert the entities and then extrude an addition. Or I could go back and modify our original sketch. But I want to show you how you could also use a command called move face. Any of these methods require us to select this face, which is very small. Pressing G on your keyboard will launch the magnifying glass. This is great for selecting those hard to select things. You can use your scroll wheel on the mouse to zoom in and out within the magnifying glass if you need to. I'll start the move face command by using the S key and then search at the bottom. Simply type in move face. We have offset, translate or rotate. Offset will be fine for what I need and I'll generate a 3mm offset. This creates an intersection between the two bodies. Before we resolve the interference, I want to add a positional protrusion onto the side piece. Instead of using Tab to hide the body, we can right click and choose Isolate. This will hide all other bodies or components. It works at assembly level as well, and just show the ones we selected. You can change whether the hidden part is transparent or fully hidden, and also create display states from here. I'll leave the body hidden so I can create the sketch I want on this face. I'll just add a slot sketch and dimension it. I'll exit my sketch using the D key and start an extrude from my S key. Set my depth to 5mm and merge it with the side body. Once complete, I can exit the isolate command and go back to displaying both bodies. Now that body is fully detailed, I need one on the other side, so I need to mirror this body. Using Q, I can see the default and any reference planes in my model. The right plane isn't in the correct position for my mirror, so I need to create a new reference plane. I can do this quickly by holding down Ctrl and dragging an existing plane. This creates an offset plane at a distance. Now I don't really want that, I want a plane equidistant between these two faces. So I'll clear the selections and choose the two parallel faces of the cutout, which gives me a midplane. Once created, that plane is pre-selected, so if I start the mirror command, it's going to pick up that plane as my mirror plane. Then all I need to do is choose the body to mirror. Clicking on screen hides the planes that were visible when I pressed the Q key, but my newly created plane will need to be hidden separately. I can do that just by choosing the plane and clicking hide. Now I need to sort out the interference between the sides and the main body. To do that, I'm going to use a tool called Indent. Indent can be a really useful tool for this type of cutout, as it uses one body to cut another. I'll use my S key and search for Indent to start the command. Our target body is the main body section that I want to remove material from, so I select that and choose Remove. I can then select both side bodies as the tool body region. Toggling on the cut option will allow Indent to remove material. You can see the preview updating and showing what's going to be removed. Towards the bottom, there's an option to build in a clearance value. If I use that at this stage, it will apply to all faces of the indent. I don't need a clearance here, so I'm going to accept the command and exit. I'll just spin the model round and hide these bodies so that I can see the result of the indent tool. I can then use Shift and Tab to bring back the hidden bodies. For a belt and braces approach, I want to add some fixings here too. Another nice feature in SOLIDWORKS is that you can copy and paste features to save a bit of time. A shortcut to do that is to hold down the Control key and drag the feature from the feature tree onto the model. I get a confirmation screen of the copy and it asks me whether I want to delete or dangle any sketch relations. In my case, I want to delete them, as I'll reassociate them in a minute. Obviously the position of these holes isn't right, so I need to adjust this. Rather than dimensioning these holes from geometry that can be difficult to select, I could leverage sketches from other features. I'd like to position relative to the protrusion sketch I created earlier. Sketches can be difficult to find and select as they are buried under features. What you can do is you can use the flatten tree display option to unabsorb sketches from features. Just hold down Control and press T. I can then show this sketch, edit my hole wizard positional sketch and attach the points to it and dimension to the top and bottom. Once finished, I can simply press Ctrl and T again to collapse the features back to the normal style. Then all I need to do is mirror the counterbores from one side to the other. We saw this earlier, but if I pre-select the plane I want to use for the mirror, it gets populated into the correct box in the Property Manager, and all I need to do is choose the feature to mirror. And that's my part pretty much complete. The final feature that I want to highlight is called Purge Unused Features. This is a great tool to tidy up your model after you've finished working on it. You can right-click on your part and choose Purge Unused Features, and it will find any features that are suppressed in all configurations and allow you to selectively or completely delete them. It will also find any unused sketches and reference geometry. It's perfect to ensure your models only contain the data that you need, and a great final tool to use once your models are complete. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video, learned something, or remembered something you'd forgotten. Please like and subscribe for more similar content. Thank you from all of us at SolidX for watching. See you next time.